Dr. Kenny Anthony, twice Prime Minister of St. Lucia and a trained constitutional lawyer, delivered a challenge at a public education lecture hosted by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. The event was part of the ECSC's push to bring the justice system closer to the people it serves. The lecture, titled "The Court, the Constitution and the Citizen, Who Guards the Guardian," brought together legal minds, students and members of the public.
I am deeply honored to have been asked to deliver this lecture this afternoon or this evening, and I do look forward to an interesting exchange with you at the end of this lecture. I'm particularly pleased too that we have been joined by some students from Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. I understand that they're doing their CAPE examinations in law, and it's always a pleasure to have them in the audience as they seek to further their legal education.
The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court launched its public education program to address what Acting Chief Justice Mario Mitchell has called a troubling gap. Most citizens simply do not understand the court system that governs their lives. Against that backdrop, Dr. Anthony's lecture tackled one of the most fundamental tensions in any democracy: the relationship between a court, the constitution it interprets, and the citizen whose rights hang in the balance. Dr. Anthony is no stranger to the intersection of law and governance. He holds a doctorate from the University of Birmingham, where his thesis examined St. Lucia's mixed legal system. He lectured at the UWI Faculty of Law and served as CARICOM's General Counsel before entering politics.
Who guards the guardians? This question did not originate in the Commonwealth Caribbean. It predates our legal systems, our constitutions, courts, and in the case of St. Lucia, our mixed legal heritage. It finds expression in the classical political philosophy of Juvenal's famous query, "Quis custodiat ipsos custodes?" It has echoed through the centuries of constitutional thought and practice. But it is deeply relevant to our legal systems and its culture. It assumes a particular urgency in post-colonial societies like ours.
At the heart of his lecture was a question that strikes at judicial independence. Who holds the courts accountable when citizens feel their rights have been denied, not protected? Dr. Anthony is expected to have explored the constitutional framework that defines the ECSC's authority, the limits of that authority, and what recourse ordinary citizens have when that system falls short.
Because we are small, the distance between power and the citizen is even shorter, and therefore more consequential than is the case in larger states. Fifthly, some of our countries maintain ties with the former imperial power in the exercise of judicial power and the vesting of the executive power of the state. Section 59 of the Constitution of St. Lucia, for example, reminds us that, quote, "the executive authority of St. Lucia is vested in Her Majesty," of course now His Majesty. This may be, as some have argued, a mere convention, but its political import is unmistakable. Sixthly, the constitutions of some countries in our midst stubbornly hold on to colonial laws, which limit the fundamental rights and freedoms promised by the constitutions, on the ground that the constitutions protect such laws as existing laws. In such a context, the question which I posed earlier is not rhetorical. It is real, practical, and urgent. The question in issue may be refined syllogistically as follows: if the judges are the guardians of the Constitution, and if the Constitution is the guardian of the citizen, who then guards the guard? Who then guards the guardians?
The lecture comes at a significant moment for the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in St. Lucia. The ECSC has been stepping up its public outreach in recent months, hosting judicial conferences and education events across its 9 member states. Dr. Anthony's lecture brings a civilian perspective to a debate that has largely remained within legal circles, and that supporters say is the point. As the court works to narrow the distance between the judiciary and the communities it serves, events like this one reflect a growing recognition that justice must be more than a legal process. It must be understood, trusted, and open to scrutiny by the very citizens it is designed to protect. I am Christabel Obi reporting for Hot 7 TV News.